What's up, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I'm here to ask. We're at the end of the year. We're at the end of November, so there's only one or two big releases left. I mean, the only games that aren't out at the moment are Rainbow Six Siege and Just Cause 3. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you're also looking at Xenoblade Chronicles X as well. But other than that, other than those three games, there's no real big games or anything like that out for the rest of the year. And everything is behind us. Star Wars is the most recent big release. That's been out for about a week now. And people have obviously had the chance to play it and, form their own opinion on it. So, given the fact that everything is already out and we've all had time to let it sit and digest and, soak up and absorb and whatever, I'm here to ask, what is your Game of the Year 2015? And what is your flop of the year 2015? So it's a relatively simple question. It's not what you think was the worst game of the year. You can add that in also if you want. But the main thing I'm looking for is when I say your biggest flop of the year is some game you were really looking forward to, and then it just turned out to be, despite all odds, it just turned out to be a piece of shit and just arguably worthless. So I'm just curious to know what your game of the year is and why, and what your flop of the year is and why. And if you really want, you can throw in worst game of the year and why as well. So I'm going to lead off the charge. I'm going to go straight off and get mine out there as well. I'm going to go with game of the year, personally, for me, is Fallout 4. So I have ridiculous amounts of time of Fallout 4 at the moment. I think I'm pushing like 60 hours, if not 70. It was on there this morning. I was playing it like 20 minutes ago, but I just kind of zoned out on my time whenever I save it. But yeah, Fallout 4 is my game of the year. Despite some technical issues, despite some, what would we call it? What feels like a step back in a couple of ways that Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas were superior. So there's been a couple of questionable choices and design decisions, and for a little bit overall dumbed down a little bit, but it's definitely still my game of the year. I'm not going to go into really detail and really in depth on the gripes and pros and cons with Fallout 4, but overall Fallout 4 was just my game of the year, and that's pretty much all I can say about it. I can't really decide on a worst game of the year, simply because I generally do a little bit of research, and I have genuine consideration and all for games that I consider playing and buying. And because of that, it's really hard for me to pick a worst game of the year, because for the most part I kind of enjoyed like every game I bought, except for maybe like one or two, but not to the point where they were awful. So it's hard to say anyway, but that's why I'm not including my worst game of the year. However, my biggest flop of the year, so the biggest game that had me all hyped up and gave me a mad raging hard on just at the thought of the game, and then it came out and I played it and it turned out to be a piece of crap, was MGS5. Absolute letdown. Game was fucking diabolical. There was one or two nice things about it. Some of the mechanics, the animations, I will say the graphics, to an extent, they're obviously not as top end as they could potentially be. Even on PC with max settings, to force in, the engine had to force in some of the old generation stuff too. But just overall, the game was just an entire letdown in epic proportions. And whether you want to slate Konami, whether you want to slate Kojima, or whether you want to slate the whole Konami Kojima falling out thing, whatever it is, it could potentially be that. We'll probably never know. But MGS5 was the biggest flop of the year for me. We'll go with MGS5 because that beat out Batman Arkham Knight PC Edition, simply because on consoles I hear it's still a decent game, and while I still have never got around to actually getting a chance to play it, can it flop if the game itself didn't really flop? Essentially, it was still pretty well received, still pretty praised. Obviously, it has Kevin Conroy, so it's definitely a promise, or definitely promising. But other than that, that's why I just wrote off the PC release of Batman Arkham Knight, even after all the newer updates and patches and all that still are not fixed and still broken, and still has shitty DLC, and will be confirmed to never get SLI support or Crossfire support if you're an AMD user. By the way, anyone out there who still hasn't got a chance to, I would suggest you refund your Batman Arkham Knight on PC to prove a point. By the end of the year, you have till December 31st to do it. You still have a month to go. Just, even if you wait 2 or 3 more weeks, just refund it. I know I'm getting off topic here, but that's where I'm going to leave that anyway. So that's my biggest game of the year, Fallout 4. My biggest flop of the year, MGS 5. Let me know your ones, and if you have one as well, your potentially worst game of the year as well. Let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter. Details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.